Hello. There we go. Okay, against all odds, we've made it. I've been in the country about 90 minutes. I rushed into an Uber at the airport. Actually, not an Uber, a Bolt, because, I love Estonia. And ran here as quickly as I can. For those of you who didn't know what was happening, I do apologize for the late starting of this stream. Basically, I was in Sweden for Merdi Festival, and my flight was meant to arrive at 6 p.m. It was extremely foggy today in London, and as a result, it ended at 6:50. Arrived. That then made things rather difficult, so I ran home. What I have here is the remnants of the bowl of pasta that I just basically inhaled. And once again, a reminder that I love my fiance very much, who literally had my PC on and ready for me, and a bowl of pasta plonked down in front of it. She also made me some tea. It's quite funny. She's like, I've made you the anti-stress tea. So yeah, here we are. I'm really glad to be here. I am full of energy and adrenaline because I've been in such a hurry. There's loads to talk about tonight. Just a disclaimer straight ahead of time. In the interests of time tonight, we're not going to talk about Portugal or Italy. Italy, I have an expert coming on next week who is there in Ariston in San Remo, and so saw it all happen. And then we will also talk about Portugal next week. You may also notice no Jay tonight. Jay is not here. Jay couldn't make it today. I had a quick whip around to see if anyone else could come on, but no one could do it at short notice. So you're going to have to deal with just me, I'm afraid. It's going to be like Eurovision week all over again. So it's been a busy weekend. Obviously, I was not in the country until about 5 minutes ago. I have basically, I've been in Sweden. It was my final national final of the season, and I think for me, it was quite the effort because we managed to get to four national selections this year, which is the most we ever did. So I'm very, very happy, very excited about that. We were in Finland, we were in Estonia, we were in Moldova, and we were in Sweden. We will, of course, be talking about Sweden tonight. That's going to be the first thing we talk about. In the meantime, it's really great to see you all. I see you all in chat. I want to say thanks to, there was a super chat that came in just before the stream started, which has now disappeared from my screen. But I just wanted to thank that person very much. I want to thank Stickheads for 53 months subscribed on Twitch. I bet most of you can't claim that. Lotus Finder and Blackpool Graham for subbing as well. Really appreciate it. I appreciate the super chats. I appreciate all of the support. In some ways, arriving in this state feels very appropriate to the weekend that we just had, because it was very much a flying visit. We got in really late. Thursday night. MelFest stuff all day Friday, all day Saturday. Get up this morning, leave. It was basically the long and short of it. Do9437 says, I would pay a significant amount of money for you to stream for 3+ hours with Deb. And 2, will you be discussing UK and France? In answer to number 1, that would be awesome. Answer to number 2, yes. Is my desk really high? I'm just leaning back. Although let me just say, because I've just run in here, I'm obviously drenched in sweat. It's really good you guys don't have smell-o-vision, because if you did, whew. On that note, let's talk about Sweden is where we're going to start. Obviously, we're going to talk about San Marino, Poland, Romania today as well. We've got some internal selections to talk about too. Levi, thank you so much for the tip. I really, really appreciate it. Plenty to talk about, plenty to get through. I will be asking you guys a lot of questions, because since it's just me here, that means that you guys are going to be my co-hosts for today. So I'm going to be asking you all questions and stuff. And if you guys behave yourselves, we can run lots of polls. And in celebration of that, we got another Loco boombox. And I've managed to break my window where I had Loco boombox. Egg, thank you so much. Says, congratulations to Senate for winning Una Voce per San Marino, clearly rigged. Number two, number two, my system could win. Not sure about that, but we'll get there. B says, take a week off. You need it. Here's €6. Buy something nice. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I will take a week off at some point, but this is not going to be that week. So yes, I was there. And honestly, I really can't explain to you how big MelFest is, how overwhelming it is when you're actually there. The scale of it is quite extraordinary. Obviously, it completely dominates Swedish discussion. It's everywhere in the city. Things are lit up in the colors. Everyone's running special deals. It's weird because they do partnerships with like Coca-Cola and McDonald's and stuff. So you would see like Coca-Cola X MelFest ads and stuff. And the best thing was, because of their partnership with McDonald's, there were trays of free cheeseburgers at the after party. There were trays of free cheeseburgers, and there were trays of there was like a Magnum stall as well. Not the gun, the ice cream, which I will show you just how pleased I was with my... There I am, having a lovely time with my ice cream. Right, let me make it big screen. There we are. Also, while I was not here, Cynthia, my fiance, has put together a gift basket of all the things we got in Finland. I have no idea what's in there, so we will open that at some point. Yes, it was a cheeseburger, but don't worry, I did not eat the cat. Cheese is around here somewhere. I actually don't know where. Presumably in this room or the other one. So we have a lot to get through, and firstly, like I said, we're starting with MelFest. Scale of it is incredible. That's where I was. The size of the arena is actually kind of astonishing. I'm going to find a photo for you because it's really, really something. For some of you may know, I actually tweeted a photo of this the other day, but you kind of need to see it because even the photo doesn't do it justice. I really recommend you all go one day. But if we get a load of this, look how tiny that stage is in the distance there. And it's the only arena for Eurovision, anything Eurovision related that I've ever been in, where I've been at the top and it's like your knees go jelly a little bit because the sides are so steep. The thing is so enormous. It's astonishing. And there really is nothing like it in terms of scale. Neuro, thank you so much. Says MelFest Burger after a great show. I'm now hungry. It really helped because obviously we'd been through the ringer with the results and everything, which were a little more stressful than I expected them to be. And then I got very hungry. Stephen, I will donate this photo to Wikimedia Commons. We have some songs to go through. I don't really know what anyone's opinions were because I was watching it in the press center. I probably have a different view to everyone else, so I'm going to be spotlighting a lot of your opinions today. Like I said, because I'm by myself, I am going to want to hear from you a lot more. Casper says, I bet this was too epic to be true. In any case, yes, we are going to push forwards. And yes, there were 28,000 people in that arena. We'll go through them in order. These are all seared onto my brain now because I've seen them about 40 times. I have plenty to talk about. The first thing I wanted to say, though, is that you guys might not know, but I've been looking at Swedish media today. Swedish media has been really, really negative about this show. Extremely. And they're obviously the experts. They have very high standards for Melodifestivalen. But it's actually interesting for me because I was actually there, because I have the emotional connection. It's my first time, and obviously it was really amazing. I enjoyed this a lot more than the last couple of years. I would really love to hear what your opinion of what the song quality was like this year versus the last couple of years. People also had a big problem with the interval act, which was Are You Happy Now? Which everyone said was really tone deaf. Henro says, we Swedes love to complain. I'm British, I love to complain too. Dunda says, it looked the same as always, what are they angry about? Unknown Girl, it doesn't like Aftonbladet, then you're really not going to like the guest star in the MelFest video. People were disappointed in the songs. I will say, even though I enjoyed them live, and there were some that I did genuinely find very fun, it felt to me, and I'm sure it felt to all of you guys, like there was a really clear choice here, right? I can't be the only one who was like, there's literally only one song that could possibly win this. And also, they did get free cheeseburgers because everyone was at the after party. But yes, in any case, let's do a bit of a dissection. And I'll talk about what I liked, what I didn't like, and then I will have a look at your opinions. Firstly, an act that your parents are really excited about. Oh, we'll come to you in a minute, Mera. So, 18's, iconic. I actually looked up because I remember when I first went on stream to talk about this show, I didn't know who 18's were. And there were some people in chat who were like, what? How do you not know who 18's are? And it's like, it's before my time. And so I looked up this week being like, thank you so much, Dravo. And yes, it is iconic. Am I the one who's out of touch here? A bit like, the... it's like the opposite of the Skinner meme where it's like, am I out of touch? No, it's the children who are wrong. It's that, but with the parents. So the last time 18's put out an album, I was like 6. So I'm not surprised at all that I had never heard of them. The thing is with this song is that, I mean, it really is 2000s, isn't it? It's kitsch, it's camp. The performance, I mean, they're slick, and that is one expensive-looking prop. To be honest, you could break this up into 4, ship them over to London, and then rent them each as a studio apartment for £1,000 a month. Those of you who live in London or Dublin will know the rental struggle in these particular cities. But it's difficult to come back after all this time and sort of go beyond the nostalgia effect. I mean, it's kind of similar to Vanilla Ninja, and while these guys performed live a lot better than Vanilla Ninja did, this is kind of still one of those things where it's like, it's a bit of a default option where if you like nothing, this is your favorite song. Like, if there's nothing that particularly catches you, then you'll go, oh, I remember when I was a teenager in, the early 2000s. And I remember this, and it makes me, remember my childhood and all of this. Got to drink the anti-stress tea. But yeah, I appreciated how slick it was. And I think it was a general thing with all of the songs where I really appreciated the staging, the production value, and so on, as is typical. But this was not one of my favorites. Since I have no one here with me, I am going to do polls on each of these songs as we go through. And so it's literally just going to be from, I'm going to ask you to rate it because we can have a maximum of 4 options. It's going to be like literally rate it out of 4, like 1 to 4. So I can barely type. What do you rate A star teens out of 4? If a Twitch mod could do this, I would appreciate it. And then we'll have a sort of champion in our stream at the end. So there we go. First one is up now on YouTube, and I hope a mod will be doing it on Twitch as well because I can't, but they can. We'll see what score we get. One thing I think we can at least agree on is that for me, and I have always felt this with MelFest a little bit, I enjoyed the show more than the songs in terms of the pacing and so on means it feels like a party. I mean, I really, really criticized Austria, for example, for the fact it took them so long to do anything, right? They got through the entire final, including the results, in 2 hours. And so I appreciated that very much, that they just get on with it in Sweden. They don't waste your time. We've got a little bit more time on this poll, although it's looking pretty clear. There seems to be a consensus option. And so get your votes in. We still have time. And by the way, while we're waiting for this, you guys really need to know the full Felicia story. The video that I'm doing about MelFest is going to be 98% about Felicia and her story. I described it as an underdog story on Twitter, and a few confused people quoted that tweet with like the odds and stuff, being like, oh no, she was an overwhelming favorite to win. Not what it was about. Her story is crazy. We'll touch on it tonight, full detail, when the video comes out on Friday. So the overwhelming winner is 2 with 52%. So you guys are unimpressed by 18s. I will say, shout out to the 5% of people who rated this 4 out of 4, so the maximum score. There were fans for everyone and everything. She was Frokensnusk. It was Felicia, not 18s. 18s was not Frokensnusk. Okay, for next time, 4 is the highest, 1 is the lowest. I should have clarified that. Let's go on to somebody who's truly a pioneer. And the reason why Mera Omar is a pioneer is that she has managed to perfect the art of having a song that sings itself while you just kind of stand there. So, how much backing vocals would you like, Mera? I mean, I actually don't know whether she sung this well or not because we can't hear her at any stage. I will say that the song is stuck in my head now, and it was stuck in my head while I was on the plane flying back here. But, I mean, girl, come on, like, you got this far. Presumably you have at least some voice. Why are you so buried? This is also, the other criticism I would have is that it's basically just reheating last year's nachos. Someone says, I voted for Mera's backing singers. Yeah, I mean, the backing singers did a great job. Again, the Swedish press really criticized this for this reason. Stephen says, nope, she's a queen. And she didn't have backing vocals. She had a backing replacement singer, says Liam. What I do find with this song, especially given who the songwriters are, have you guys ever noticed how, especially in Eurovision, there's this kind of genre of music which is just ethnic? Like, no specific ethnicity, just ethnic. This is like that. It's just kind of like, we'll channel some vaguely, sort of exotic vibes of unspecified origin. Throw in some basic phrases in a sort of Middle Eastern, usually Middle Eastern or Asian language, and then boom, off you go. To be honest, what I would really love would be for Mera to come back again and sing a song where we had like a full verse in Farsi. I think that would be really, really fun. We will do a poll. Start poll. So, Mera Omar. And I'm going to put in rest. 4 best, 1 worst. Okay, and 4 and 3 and add option. 2 and 1. Start poll. There we go. Vote now. She's Afghan, sorry. That's my mistake. Apparently, I'm delaying the Dulu as much as possible. I will say, no spoilers, I hate it less than I did last week. I still don't like the song, but I've had experiences that have made it slightly more... I'll explain, okay? I will explain. So, Stephen says people who vote 1 need to be banned. I wouldn't vote 1 on this. For me, it's medium. I will say it was really, really fun watching it live. And the winning on both Twitch and YouTube is 3 with 37% and 43% respectively. Okay, you guys like Mera Omar. That doesn't surprise me. Like I said, I just want to hear her more, It's just, it is weird, especially when you see it live, that it's just so overwhelmingly backing vocals. It's like we have reverb up to the absolute maximum possible, and then we turned it up some more when we got there. That's kind of how I'm feeling about this at the moment. I've put it off long enough. So, last time we talked about this, I called it the worst thing I'd ever heard in my life. I don't like the song still. Yeah, I've paused it on Gayson. I'm just going to leave it like that, actually. So, I will say, I did some filming while I was there for some of my friends were doing interviews with various people. And one of them was with Lila Al-Fadji. And it was the funniest interview I've ever heard in my life. I don't get this at all, probably partly because I don't speak Swedish. This guy, in an interview in English, I'm telling you, he's like the funniest man I've ever heard. Like, I was struggling to hold the camera straight because I was laughing so much. Do I like the song any more than last week? No. Do I understand that he's clearly very funny? Yes. Yes, I do, because I have now experienced it for myself. And so I understand slightly more why Swedes get it. I also think this is kind of, it feels like a bit of a middle finger in some ways to the, if this had gone to the contest, I think given everything else, it would have been quite funny. We'll have a poll, of course. And also, I will set that up now. B says, is it technically racist? A non-Arabic man playing an Arabic character doesn't sit right with me. Yeah. I know what you mean. It's kind of this underlying thing. I don't know what the Swedish context is, though, so I kind of haven't gone too much into that. But I know what you mean. Emilia says, hi, I really appreciate your videos and especially your live streams. They make me feel like I'm part of a really big ESC friend group. That is so lovely to hear. I really hope you all feel like, you know, we're all sat around a really big, like, I'd say sat around the fire, but more like we're sat around like a burning trash bin. That's how I view the live streams. We're sat around the burning garbage, breathing in all of the toxic fumes as it all melts in front of us and warming our hands. Right, so, Dulu. And then again, I'll put one worst for best. Feel free to vote now on YouTube. On Twitch, they've already almost finished, but I'll give you guys 20, 30 seconds. The other thing is, I do wonder, because the way Gresula is said, it kind of sounds like Gresson, as in Thomas Gresson. So I do kind of wonder whether there's an element of parody in there where they've deliberately made it sound like Thomas Gresson. Someone says check the Discord, which is usually bad news. I see you have cropped my face and the word gay next to each other. I don't know why this was in any way surprising. Please stop saying Thomas Gayson. Now I've made it worse. Anyway, I'm going to end the poll now. And unsurprisingly, you have given Dulu a score of 1 out of 4. So it seems that the ESC Gabe chat says no to Gayson. Moving on. Next we have Saga Ludvigsson. Robbed. So we've gone from Gayson to Goth Daughter. Saga Ludvigsson, super reliable. She's come last twice in 2 years. Thank you, Officer Balls, for donating 20 euros just with the message Gabeson. I find it incredible how Saga Ludvigsson seems to have this unrivaled ability to sail through to the final without any problem and then come last. And that is, as Surprise Dimple says in chat, the way she reacted. She took it so well. She said, I'm the best at coming last. A win is a fucking win. And you know what? I will say she seemed really happy with her experience anyway. At the after party, she was basically just like, while most artists were away in the VIP area, she was just hanging out with like her friends at the back in the open area by the bar and just having a great time and celebrating and seemed to be in a really, really good mood. So she was happy with this. I like her image. I like her. I like her voice. Next year, if she comes back, it feels like this isn't her last time. I want to see something different now. I mean, this is a criticism I have a lot of the returning artists in this show, is that we're getting things which are very similar to what they did last year or the year before. And yeah, I just need something different. You know, you can't just bring back the same thing over and over again. That's one of people's key criticisms of Melodifestivalen. And it's something that, you know, things like Kai were a recognition of the fact that we need more variation, and that Swedes do respond well to that. I'm going to try and ignore the person who said Robin Bengtsson Boone until we get there. Gabe, do you agree that you look a bit like Saga Ludvigsson? You literally have the same hair. I'm not sure I do agree. Listen, my inner goth girl may have accompanied me for many years, but I really don't think that it has yet emerged in such a way that I look like Saga Ludvigsson. Someone told me that she looks a bit like my fiance, and I can kind of see it though. Let's poll. I need to do a poll. I almost forgot to do a poll. Thank you for becoming a member, Ninja Apartment Para El Pueblo. Right. No, not start Q&A. Start poll. There we go. Saga 1 worst, 4 best. 2. There we go. Sorry, I'm really having trouble over here. There we go. Whoever wrote Gaga Ludvigsson, you're going to hell. Now, shut up and vote in the poll. You guys are really... I'm enjoying how silly and whimsical you are this evening. I feel like you guys are very committed to carrying me through this, through my, like, exhaustion. The anti-stress tea did help very much. All right, so... You have a few more seconds to vote, so make sure you do it now if you haven't already. We are all tired as hell, I agree, Jazza, but there's more to come. I'll talk about that later, actually, about what the plan is next. So, with 46% on Twitch and 39% on YouTube, we have 3 as the winner, although 2 got exactly the same amount as 3 on YouTube. Samgul, thank you very much. I will speak about Eins, Zwei, Drei tonight. I will do that after this. We'll go like selection, internal, national selection, internal selection, like that. Back and forth. Now, let's move on to Dons. If Dons was in Lincoln Park. This is another song where it's quite funny still. This is another song where it's like, okay, I liked it the first time, but this is now the 3rd time. Oh, I forgot to end the poll. Okay, end. There we are. Someone says he looks like JD Vance, and I think that's maybe a little mean. I do think, and thank you, Andy, for the super chat saying gay Gabeson. Their best song was their first one, which was 6 Feet Under. That was a really great song. I think it could have won MelFest this year. But for me, this was their worst entry of the 3. I enjoyed it when I saw it live, and it was cool to see them go up in the air and stuff. But, you know, the chips are so stale, as Nero says. The chips are stale. We need to bake a fresh lot of chips. And this time they need to put, like, paprika and other things on the chips, and like, well, not mayo because mayo's gross, but I don't know, like they could have like different, a side of like different sauces. Like you could have ketchup, and you could have, I guess, like garlic mayo and cheese, not the cat. Kieran, thank you very much. When Gabeson is alone, we love to annoy him. Yes, you do. This is kind of giving like Eurovision Week live streams 2025. And news on that later. They need a cake to bake or whatever was Latvia 2014 entry, says Dara. Yes, that's what they do need. Right, I am going to put another poll here where I'm going to say smash into pieces 1 worst for best. Ridden and revamped, Leleka is winning Eurovision. I'm going to have to look into that. I haven't seen that yet. Thank you very much, Meowtron. I really appreciate that super chat. Right. I didn't kill Cheese. Cheese is fine. He's just wandering around. He's probably asleep in the other room at the moment. Vote now. Agent Liz says, I got interesting information on my system that I feel really needs to be on the Eurovision iceberg. I really hope your interesting information isn't that those 2 notes sound like Every Time We Touch by Cascada. Book Boo, Pop with Guitars with a Z. Yeah, I know what you mean. It is kind of just a pop song. And Six Upon a Time says, shout out to the French spokeswoman and Olo. The French spokeswoman was Alexandra Reda Amil, who is the head of the French delegation. For some reason, whenever she presents points, she kind of shouts. She kind of goes like, hello, from France. And 8 points go to Olo. It was really funny. The entire press room burst out laughing. And it's 3 again. See, you know what? We came into this stream, right? And you all said that this show sucked. And now you are giving every single song 3 out of 4. I'm just saying. But yeah, no. And the funny thing is then we had another song with an H straight after that she also had to read out. We'll continue to Kimberly. And in my opinion, one of the best surprises of the night. Let's have a listen. So, I didn't feel necessarily that the song was particularly distinctive, but gosh, is she talented. As someone pointed out, she was on the Swedish equivalent of Idol the same season as Saga Ludvigsson. And I believe the two are quite good friends. I thought that, like, vocally, she was so charismatic, so strong. I remember sitting in the room and watching this and thinking, and coming to the end of it and thinking, that was actually my favorite so far. Like, there were others I expected to like more, but this was, up to this point in the show, this had been my favorite one. It does sound a little like Effortless. Sonically, it is similar. I would really love to see, and again, this was something the Swedish press commented on, where they were like, it lacks identity a little bit. I think that criticism is valid. But she's great, and she's charismatic, and also, and this isn't true with everyone, look at her. She's clearly enjoying herself. That actually counts for so much. Just the fact that she is having fun. You know, how many people do you see get up on stage and they look sort of grumpy and miserable? She was having a great time. A great time, and I appreciated it. Dolphin Dane says, she's half finished. No wonder I enjoy this. What can I say? I'm nothing if not consistent. I am going to do a poll. Gosh, I love the polls. I miss doing this many polls. Right, I've got a massive stomachache, by the way, now, because I ate my dinner so fast, and, you know, I hope you guys know that you should not eat too fast, otherwise you'll get a stomachache. This is very important. All right, here's the poll. Smack buttons. Someone says, please, B says, please take a Rennie. No. I am going to just power through. Can we rate cheese out of 4? No, because you would all have to vote 4. Otherwise, I would delete the channel. Someone says, okay, Granny. Where Twitch poll? A Twitch mod needs to do it. I've seen a bunch of them in chat, so one of them will set it up. Can a mod please put the poll up on Twitch? Because they're revolting over there. There we go. B is on it. We'll give you a little bit of extra time. Gabe, when you share your opinions before the poll, it kind of skews the result. I'm not sure about that, because presumably you have your own opinions. And like, if I come in and go, I like this song, it's not going to make you all go, wow, 4 out of 4. All right. Polls are on. Dolphin, Dane, I'm not doing Sanremo tonight. James is going to come on next week. And while the poll is running, provided all the songs are out, I'm sure many of you remember the model from last year and the previous year, which has been used to predict results. The first version of the model, provided all the songs are out, will be premiered live on stream next week. Right here and only here. Kieran, thank you very much. Is there anyone in Eurovision who looked unenthusiastic? Yeah, there's more than a few who looked like they didn't want to be there. Astrid says the model that didn't work. Well, the model that predicted more qualifiers than the bookmakers did. But yeah, so we're doing that next week, and we're going through Sanremo in lots of depth. Unless Armenia ruins it for us. Let's see. Benny Christo of the Czech Republic is a perfect example, says Racing at Home. Yeah, well, there we go. That's the thing. You do get those, right, who just seem like they're a bit, go girl, give us nothing. Imagine if Armenia sends Wina Numa Ditsa Begin. I think that's unlikely. Something just fell off the table somewhere. Okay, guys, my house is haunted. Anyway, you guys liked Kimberly. You have rated her, once again, 3 out of 4, with 46% saying 3, 21% saying 4, and 29% saying 2. We will move forward from Kimberly to Medina, who have the same song they had the last 2 times. So, one thing you may have missed, I'm going to quickly go back to Twitter for a second, is that, and this is about as pointed as it gets. At the after party, they sung Bella Ciao, which is an Italian left-wing anti-fascist anthem, while waving around a keffiyeh. So these guys have always been very clear about their views, and they also, one of them showed a little message in their jacket, which was a lot more, let's say, in competition compliant. Although once they were out of that, they were then very clear. But we've known this before. They pulled out of the fan zone in 2024. They were meant to perform in protest against Israel's participation. They refused to. So these guys have been on this a long time. So they're consistent, and their music is consistent too, because this song sounds exactly the same as the other ones. I'm curious to know what you guys think of this, because for me, I did have the frustration of being like, okay, we're kind of in the same place again. It's like kind of sounds the same. Beaver Liquor says, wow, supporting anti-Semitism. Being critical of Israel. I mean, I'm critical of Israel and I'm Jewish. Does that make me an anti-Semite? Like, let's not be silly now. Tom says probably a good thing they didn't win. I mean, the song, I never expected this to win. I was really surprised how well it did with the jury. Who knows what they would have done if they had won. But yeah, Viva l'Amour, I don't think is a particularly political subject. Medina getting more jury points, says Aya. Then Gresula was hilarious. Yeah, I mean, obviously, so Medina got the exact same amount of jury as they got from the televote. And to be honest, it caught me off guard a little bit, because I really didn't think that they would do that well with the jury. I kind of thought they'd do like a bit better with the televote than they did, a bit worse maybe with the jury than they did. And so I think top 3 would be very happy for them. They were very happy with this. They said in interviews after the show that they were surprised and they had predicted themselves to come 6th. So 3rd, they were delighted. And yeah, let's see. Someone points out that last year Dolly Style got more jury points than Gresula. It's funny you mentioned Dolly Style. So at some point, while I promise entirely sober, at one of the side events on the Friday night, Yeehaw by Dolly Style came on. And I jumped up on my friend GJ's shoulders and he carried me around the room while I did this. While Dolly Style was on. Someone filmed it. Then at the after party, someone showed it to one of the girls from Dolly Style. So Dolly Style has seen me riding around on my friend's back, screaming yeehaw. And also, I have something. Okay, you guys are going to have to give me a minute. Give me a sec. I've got to show you something. I've got to show you what the merch I got. Wait. Oh, it's in the other room. I'll be back. Everyone stay there. Don't go anywhere. Okay, I'm back. Hello, hi, right. So, they had a merch stall on Friday night with lots of different artists. Look what I got! I have the greatest t-shirt of all time. Thunder says, you are one of the girlies. Yes, I guess I am. I am part of Dolly Style now. I will say that Yeehaw has had way more longevity in my mind than like every other song from MelFest last year. It's just like stuck in my head. No. Not Golly. Not Golly. There's a reason why it's not Golly. Stop. Guys, Golly in Britain is like, refers to a racial slur. Please stop. Gabby Style is fine. We can go with that. Thank you, Petra. Okay, why are you holding it up like you signed for Dolly Style FC? Well, I did sign for Dolly Style FC. We're all fans of Dolly Style FC. It's all right, guys. I know none of you would have known that because it's a very specific British thing, but when I started seeing that in chat, I was like, no, stop. It's like a very old-timey thing that, like, I can't remember the last time I ever heard anyone say it. But yeah, we don't say that in Britain. Like, specifically in Britain, that's a thing. Gobly style. I'm seeing Gobly style, Gargy style, Galley style, Gabby style. Cole says you need to wear that for every stream from now on. I was actually going to give it to my fiance as a present. So maybe, but maybe I will at some point. Gangnam Style. No, that's the wrong year, wrong decade. We should probably rate this song. I haven't given you guys a poll yet, and I'm sure when you're in this elevated, aggravated state, the exact thing you guys need is a poll. Right, so we are polling on Medina. 1 worst. 4 best. And then there we go. Polly style. I love puns. While this is going on, let's do something that we do regularly on this channel, which is I have a Discord server. During the stream, if you all join the Discord server all at once, it will cause all of the mods and all of the admins to receive a notification on their phone, which is like, raid alert, raid alert. Let's try and do this right now. So have a look in the description. Find the Discord server invite. Everyone join the Discord server right now. This second. Do it. Do it right now. And I'm going to keep my eye on the welcome section in the server. Oh, yes. There we go. See, you can see the names popping in. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Let's go. Come on. Come on. Come on. This is excellent. I'm waiting for my phone to give me the raid alert. We must be close now. There we go. Unusual join activity. Nice job, everyone. Nice job. In the meantime, you guys have voted 3 out of 4. Again. Every time. Do you guys vote for anything else? It's always 3. It is basically 2.5 because 2 had almost the same score. So maybe we'll say 2.5 this time. B says Gabe, will start coughing in 10 minutes. That may be so, but I will have had fun in my time here. I will say, sorry, I don't know why this is reminding me of this now. But by the way, you know, it's so foggy in London today. This is a complete non sequitur. Sorry, guys. It was really foggy in London today. And so that was why my plane was late. And when we landed, it was like landing into the Silent Hill universe. You literally couldn't see anything. And then at about 10 feet off the ground, the runway just sort of appeared beneath us. And it's like you couldn't see the end of the wings. They did this thing. They were like, you must turn all of your devices off. Not just airplane mode. Everyone must turn all of their devices off. And so everyone's kind of sitting there like, what's going on? But yeah, it was fine. Foggy style indeed. Is there a specific age for the Discord server on who could join? The Discord server is safe for work. The entire Discord server is designed to be suitable for anyone who is old enough to have a Discord account, i.e. over the age of 13. And we enforce that quite strictly when it comes to NSFW and stuff. There's no tolerance for that. So we hope it's a safe place for everyone who wants to participate. William never said, look, mum, no devices. There's going to be a lot of it this year. It's look, mum, no insert thing here. We're just going to have that for the entire year, and there's not going to be any stopping it. Let's go on to the next one, which was Gresula. And for a brief moment, I thought he was going to win. Someone's saying they can't find the link to the Discord server. Open the description and it is there. Join the Discord server. This one here. Anyway, sorry. Gresula, continue. Well, they set out to do an ABBA song. And they did an ABBA song. It sounds like an ABBA song. He has a nice voice. It's performed in an ABBA sort of way. But I will say, once again, while it's good, I'm quite glad this didn't win. I don't think this is the song that Gresula should take to Eurovision. I'm sure it would do fine because this kind of thing from Sweden, people will go, it's like ABBA. But again, his song last year was better. And I think if he comes again, he'll bring something better as well. Yeah, I wasn't sure about this. And yeah, I'm sorry for the Robin Bengtsson jump scare. This is actually one of the ones I have least to say about it because it was fine. But again, it is in this very nicely sort of smooth and rounded sort of orb of a package. And yeah, that's just... It's a little too round, you know? I need some more pointy bits. It is very, very Swedish. It'll get lots of airplay, and then everyone will forget it existed in 6 months. It's the kind of thing, you need some of this. You just don't want too much of it in the show. Gresula copied Zaina, says Steven. If you mean going into the sky, because last I checked, Gresula didn't pretend to be a helicopter. We want polls, says someone in chat. Tom Leach. So, fine. A poll you shall have. Gresula. One worst, four best. Okay. Here we go. Someone says Gresula did a catharticus. It doesn't count as a catharticus unless your arms are out. If you're in the air like this, then it's a catharticus. But this is not a catharticus. So, we'll see what happens here. I swear if this is going to score 3 again. The point of the ranking system is that at some point you make a decision other than, yeah, it's fine. It's all right. I don't mind it. That said, I shouldn't influence you while you are voting. Luckily on Twitch, they have done something very, 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 very different. Someone said 3 Festivalen as if Mela 3 Festivalen wasn't right there. Other people are saying, yeah, that literally sums up MelFest. I get what you mean about there being a lot of songs which are fine, but nothing or not much that is really outstanding. Okay, it is 2 on Twitch and 3 on YouTube, although 2 was very close again. The thing is that Gresula was meant to fly in the semi-final as well, but they just kind of messed it up. It didn't happen for some reason. So he just had to stand there, and then he won the semi-final anyway, so I guess it didn't really matter. Look, Mom, no flaw. Yeah. Right, let's move on to Bengtsson Boone. Yeah. Honey, honey, take my money. I'm just saying, right? Let's get the full performance up for a second. Of course, I just got to take myself off screen. Right, let's search Robin Bengtsson, honey, honey. Is it just me? Given how straight this was, the song subject matter is probably meant to be, is it just me or is this extremely homoerotic? Like, come on, he's surrounded by men in jean shirts. Jerts. And like, I saw like 7 different nipples. So I think this is one of those cases where they've gone, you know how like when you get too masculine, it kind of loops all the way around? Like when you get too like alpha male, like, I'm so straight. It then turns into something that's extremely homoerotic again. As for the song, I mean, let's be honest. I think he was as surprised to be here as everyone else. I really don't know how this was in the final over like Alexa, over Jacqueline. Someone says Turning Point USA halftime show. That is extremely harsh. But yeah, it's just kind of, I think he got through on name, personally. I'm going to do a poll. Okay, so Bengtsson Boone. Kanaba, thank you very much for the 50 krona. Says, will you talk about Romania national final? Yes. The Montenegro revamp? No, because I haven't heard it yet, because it happened while I was on the plane. Czechia and Azerbaijan artist picks? Yes. Just give me a minute. 4, 3, 2, and 1. So, did you think that Bengtsson Boone was the Bengtsson best? Now is your time to Bengtsson vote. Dunder is abstaining. And why is that, Dunder? Are you wanting to put a 4 on Mr. Bengtsson? This is actually extraordinary. I really thought that you guys would hate Dulu the most, but this is like, there's low and then there's low, and this is very low. Okay, so 70% of you gave this the lowest possible score. And Crystal says, I have the balls to say I voted for. I'm proud to vote it for. You're the only one. Oh dear. Delulu is funny. This is not, says Catless. Yeah, I get what you mean. I get what you mean. In any case, we'll leave Robin Bengtsson to, do whatever in the Brokeback Mountain is going on there. And we'll move on to, and we've been waiting for this. It's her time. That has been, they've had to edit that for the video. So clearly there's a copyright issue here. I'm pausing that right now. I heard that weird audio and I was like, oh, I'm about to get demonetized. So, this goes way deeper, and I really want to make sure you guys know the story behind this. Not just behind the song, but around her. I described this as an underdog for a reason. We are going to do, of the MelFest video that is going to come out on Friday, it's going to be like a 30-minute runtime probably. Probably 20 minutes are going to be dedicated to this story. Basically, so Felicia was previously the artist known as Frøken Snusk. I'll get a photo just to jog your memory, because Frøken Snusk was previously in MelFest, and that is very relevant. So, Frøken Snusk, I'm going to let's have a photo. There we go. Open a new tab. Nope, that's tiny. That's way too small. There we go. That's slightly better. Frøken Snusk. Come on, please load. Boom! Frøken Snusk. That was what I was looking for. So that is Felicia in a previous life. And essentially what happened was, when Felicia was 19 years old, she came into contact with a producer called Rasmus Gozzi. Rasmus Gozzi is not very prominent in Sweden, but he's very famous in a genre of music called epidunk, which is very popular, especially out of the cities in rural areas. That was the style of music that Frøken Snusk did. Initially, Felicia came into the studio and did a few uncredited studio sessions with Rasmus Gozzi before eventually they started making music together, and she took on the moniker Frøken Snusk. But they released hundreds of songs, and she became very successful, very famous. No one knew who she was. What we now know is the contract that she was tied into. Remember, contracts that were signed at the age of 19. So when she had no experience in the music industry, no one around her to help her out with this, she's essentially offered the world at the age of 19. She signs on the dotted line. That contract meant she was bound not to ever reveal who she was beneath the mask. It gave her no rights to any of the royalties from the music. She didn't own any of the music, or the Frøken Snusk brand, or the Frøken Snusk name. And if she cancelled a performance, she would only be paid for performing live. If she cancelled a performance, not only would she not get paid, she would be liable for the costs incurred through the cancellation. She was doing more than 150 shows a year. And she worked and worked and worked. And there'd be times she was doing 4 or 5 shows in a weekend. You know how it ended? She ended up in hospital and being diagnosed with depression. This isn't just exploitation. It's coercive control. This guy had total control over her. He was her only way into the music industry. She knew nobody else in the industry because he was the first person she came across. She didn't have the right to her name, to the identity or anything. She could never reveal it. So if from her point of view, she walks away, she has nothing. She has nothing. Then, like I said, she was hospitalized at one point, and then and was diagnosed with depression. After that happened, she goes to MelFest. The thing is, getting into MelFest, there was a deal made between Rasmus Gozzi and another label or management company that they would handle the MelFest stuff because Rasmus couldn't do it for various reasons. During that time, Felicia, for the first time at MelFest, last time out, Felicia finally came into contact with other people in the music industry. She made friends. She made connections. Those people that she met because of MelFest were the people who put her in touch with the lawyers, with the management, and so on, that enabled her to understand that contract she was tied into better and to find and try and negotiate a way out. She activated a kind of notice period at the start of 2025, expecting to have to continue to perform as Frøken Snusk for the rest of the year. But instead, Rasmus Gozzi immediately dumped her and within weeks had replaced her with someone else under the mask. According to Felicia, the whole mask image thing of Frøken Snusk was her idea. So, she meets those people because of MelFest that allow her to escape from that. So because of MelFest, she escapes those contracts. She escapes that. Then, 2 years later, she returns and wins the whole damn thing. With Rasmus Gozzi going on every podcast, grabbing every microphone he can for the entire year this year to talk shit about her, to try and drag her down, to try and get back control of the narrative because she escaped him. I describe this as one of the best underdog stories in MelFest history for a reason. Because it is. And I knew a bit about this, but then I went and I sat down with the guest for the video on Friday, which is Tobbe Ek from Aftonbladet, and he talked through this whole story on camera. And I was with James from ESC Insight, and we left, and we were like, oh my God. And she didn't win because of the backstory. This is objectively the best song in the selection, and I can tell because so many of you already had this as your favorite before you knew any of this. But it is difficult to find a better story than that. And and you'll see it in the video. I had to stop filming my results reaction very quickly after the show finished because I genuinely was going to cry. Think about the amount of pop stars who have been in these, coercive situations, who've been exploited by people. Britney Spears is I think the contemporary example, in her conservatorship. You know what I mean? And the effect that has had on those people, the way it destroys people's lives. People are mentioning Kesha as well, another great example. For her to come out and do this within just a couple of years is incredible. And she was sick. She had a fever. She had a sore throat. Now, I hope you guys understand why I described this as an underdog story. This is one of the great Melodifestivalen stories. And we live in a world where the Rasmus Gozzis win most of the time. Isn't it nice that a Felicia gets to win for once? I'd love to interview her at some point. I would love to. Maybe the time would come. But at MelFest, there wasn't a chance. Things were just too busy. So yeah, this is a redemption arc. And the title of the video is going to be something like, Sweden has given us Eurovision's greatest redemption arc story or something. I just think it's so special. I'm going to do a poll. I'm not finished talking about it because we're going to talk about how far I can go at Eurovision in a minute. But it's such a triumph for her and honestly for MelFest as well, because it is without MelFest, this story doesn't happen. without that first participation, I genuinely think you can say it's, you could go as far to say, well, did it, where would we be if she hadn't gone to MelFest? And by the way, Rasmus Gottsy had the gall after the show last night to say, oh, I'm proud of her, I wish her well. The admission of defeat. All of a sudden, his tone shifts, and he's like, hang on, maybe it was in my interest to be nice about this person all along. And I want you to think about the fact that this song, by the way, which is a fairly basic love song kind of lyrics, right? Think about it. Think about the situation she's emerged from. Think about the situation she has emerged from. And think about the fact that he now has taken every chance to try and demean her in the media, to talk shit about her on podcasts and everything else. The difficulty with which it took her to extricate herself from these contracts. She was so scared initially when she was giving interviews. She wouldn't give interviews without a lawyer because she was scared he would sue her. I can't get you out of my system feels pretty pointed all of a sudden. Obviously, it's overwhelmingly for as the result. And, I was going to save all of that backstory for the video. And obviously all of this is in the video in a lot of detail. That's why I had an expert to come and talk about it, because it's so important that we get all these details right from somebody who has been reporting on this saga as long as it's existed. But I had to tell you about this. I had to. Yeah, I just think it's brilliant. It's brilliant and wonderful. And I'm so happy for her. Gosh. ZZZZZZ says, your energy to do this after just getting back from a flight is crazy. I'll crash really hard after this stream is done, I'm very sure. I'm planning to have a shower and go straight to bed. Just got to keep my energy up for a few more hours. But yeah, I really, really, and there's personal reasons I won't go into about why this connects so much in this specific context as well. This one means a lot to me now. It really does mean a lot to me. And when I realized all of this, it hit me like a truck. And there's, and that's obviously, this is all just what we know, what's public. Those contracts have never been published. It's just things that people have been able to deduce or that have been have sort of, leaked outwards. As for how it's going to do at Eurovision, I would say probably quite well. I don't think it's going to win. I think this is a top 10 lock. Good chance of top 5. I don't think it's going to win the contest. I just think that because of the genre of music, the fact that it's brilliant EDM, it's so well executed, it's sung really well, but it's not... we see in the juries and stuff, especially, things that break new ground a little bit, tending to do quite nicely. I'm not sure we're going to get there right to the very top, but I feel like it's still going to do well. It'll do better than Marcus and Martinez Euro, in my opinion. At the same time, this is going to be, on an emotional level, one of the things that I'm most connected to this season. And I have so much respect for this woman, because most people could not have done what she has done to come back and do this, especially not so quickly. Getting emotional again. Let's move on. Oh, I'll do a poll on where it's going to end up. I will do that. I'm not going to go below 15th because it's not going to be below 15th. So where will Felicia finish? Winner, 2 to 5, 6 to 10, 11 plus. There we go. Those are your options. Start poll. Vote now. There we go. The vote's coming in. Initially, it didn't work. But yeah, I honestly, it's things like this. I went out to MelFest with an entire plan of different things I was going to cover. I wanted to do a sort of much more general, holistic thing about, the scale of it and about how important it is to Swedish culture and so on. And then on day one, first thing I do after I get up, I go to Aftonbladet and speak to Tobbe Ek about this and get the piece to camera with Tobbe that you'll see on Friday. And I left and I was like, that's it. That's the entire video. I can't cover anything else. Sometimes these things change when they, when you see it, when you get there and the narrative is different to what you thought it was. It was kind of similar in Moldova. A lot of the stuff in that video developed when we were actually there. This was the same in a different way. Kat Stopper says, I can't stand Tobbe. I know he's certainly divisive, but he's also one of the authorities on this stuff. Nobody knows these things better than him. He's the kind of voice you need to explain this to a massed audience in English who are not familiar with any of it. Yeah, happy International Women's Day, Felicia. Our audience thinks you're going to finish between 2nd and 5th place at Eurovision. That would be a great result. We are going to move on to Sanna Nielsen with her performance of Symphony by Clean Bandit. Does anyone know what happened here? Because she was perfect in all the rehearsals. I was there for the rehearsals. I saw her robotically nail this again and again and again. And then in the live show, I just... How tall is she? Says someone. I missed the name. She is very tall, actually. I met her. And yeah, she's probably 5'10" or something. She's really tall. I think she might have been... I think either there was an in-ear issue or vocal strain or something. This, on the night... I mean, we'll get on to the actual song in a second. On the night, all of a sudden, she was way off. And Sanna Nielsen has been knocking about in the Swedish music industry for a really, really, really long time. She's known as being, like I said, robotic in her ability to deliver over and over and over again, exactly the same every time. And it just didn't work. So I think she had a bad night. The song, someone says, undo this song. The song was, it was basic, is how I would describe it. I would say the song was basic, very basic. Gosh, it's already 9:30. We may have to just do internals in Poland and then push some other stuff to next week as well at this rate, because we're just running out of time. This is really basic. Someone says it's giving Scared of Heights. I know what you mean. I don't get it. Why this song? Why now? And then, she was expected to win her heat, or at very least to get through. She lost to Dulu. Yeah, I mean, it's not Turbo Ass. Turbo Ass is a good thing on some level. This is not Turbo Ass. I have to say, though, I do prefer it to Undo, but that's only because I have a massive agenda against Undo. You can have a poll. We'll give you a poll. Someone says, what time is the stream due to end? I'll go to maybe 10:30 or so another hour. Right, finish poll, Sanna Nielsen. And I need to go one. I have to stretch all the way over to the side. That's why you get this weird angle of my arm every time I do this. Worst. And then 4, 3, 2, and 1. There we go. Okay. Yannick says, I'd say she was there just for the fun of it. I'd say she's at the point of her career where she could do weird side quests like this. I think that's probably the case. She seemed extremely relaxed. Like, there was a press conference round after the final and after the jury rehearsal on the Friday night. Both times. Totally chill. Really, clearly was just there to have a nice time. Did you see Alexa in the final somewhere? Actually, yes, I did. I saw her at one of these side events. And I told her that Bomb, which is a song she did maybe 6-7 years ago now, something like that, is like one of the best, is one of my favorite songs ever. And she did this giant radiant smile and was like, thank you. So yes, I briefly spoke to Alexa and she was lovely. And that was nice. Okay, I get it. I accidentally said 6-7. You people are insufferable. You know that? In any case, you've given Sanna Nielsen 2. And only 16% of you gave it a 3 or higher. So we're going to move on. You're all going to stop saying 6-7. We're going to move on to this. Hey! I love this. I love this. I love it so much. These guys, if it weren't for Felicia, I would have been rooting for these guys to win. I'm not kidding. It's so camp and silly and fun. They're firefighters. They slide down a big pole at the start. There's fire everywhere. They put out the fire. I loved it. I loved it so much. And it was really fun. Every time it came on, every side of it, everyone doing the duk, 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 duk. Hey. It's like firefighters go one of two ways with music. They either turn into Rammstein or this. It's just so fun. And also, Swedes are obsessed with them. We were there for the family show, so the one in the afternoon on the Saturday, and that show is like 80% kids. Like, they take family show very seriously in Sweden. 40,000 or however many people in the room, all just, parents with their kids of all different ages, with the little like mellow light sticks and stuff. They don't do the pyro in that show. Jamie says, my mum thought the title was Locked in the Air Vent. So that's what we're going to call this song from now on. Locked in the Air Vent. And everyone loved this. All the kids were like up on their chairs, like jumping up and down and dancing. It was so fun. So fun. And it just made me really, really happy. Speaking of that show, I've got to find you. There's a photo and it's really funny of me at that performance. Once my WhatsApp chat's load because someone sent it to me. So I'm just going to sit here politely for a minute, guys, if that's all right. Someone says, Gabe, this is the Swedish Vanilla Ninja. Don't condone it. Well, I'm afraid that I am indeed condoning it because they might think they're epic. This actually is. I love this. I absolutely love this. Let me put the poll on. Start poll. I'm gonna BCS, sorry. One worst, 4 best. By the way, one of them got injured during the week somehow and was really practically immobile, but you wouldn't be able to tell. They still gave a really energetic performance. Right, so that's that poll for you there. In the meantime, I am going to find the photo of which I am speaking, which must be around here somewhere. Did I send it to my fiance? It seems likely I would have sent it to my fiance. Scrolling. Still scrolling. Sorry, this is going to take a minute. Me and my fiance, we talk quite a lot. Understandably. Oh, here we go. I found it. All right. So, here is a picture of me at the jury show. You know who's an absolute icon? This kid down here. She's like, what is this guy doing? But yeah, so there's proof I did in fact make it to MelFest. But yeah, no, I love the side eye. And also, here's a photo of cheese that my fiance took 2 minutes ago. I'm just going to leave this on screen for a minute because I know you all want to see this. Anyway, this song, I'm delighted to say, scored 4 out of 4, which means your favorite was Felicia, your second favorite was Bronze City Schleckers, and then your third favorite was literally everyone else except for Robin Bengtsson and Lila Alfaji. Twitch mods, you guys got to do the polls. I can't do them from here. It doesn't work for me. Someone said, "Look, Mom, no poll." So I guess you guys didn't get polled on Bronze City Slackers. Rebecca says, "Why is a black and white cat called Cheese?" Because he is. He's cheese. Let's just do it ourselves, too. Oh dear. Look, Mom, good song indeed. Speaking of which, I think it's time to talk about an internal selection. And we have a couple to talk about today. There's actually a few I'm going to mention. We will start with Britain, which is Look, Mom, No Computer, with the song 1, 2, 3. Danda is very, very, very excited about this. And you know what? I listened to this on the train to the airport in Stockholm today, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, I get it now. So is it just me, or is this quite good? And not like good as in, oh, it's good for Britain in Eurovision. As in, like, this is actually a good song. Like, it's really British. And I think it's really quite good. I think it's going to score at least 1 point from the public. And people are losing their minds in chat. So I guess you guys like Look, Mom, No Computer. I just need us to score a point so we don't get Look, Mom, No Points as every headline in every newspaper the day after. Fungus Dungus says, will you visit the museum? Look, Mum, No Computers Museum. I'm not sure. It's in Ramsgate, which is really, really, really out of the way. But we'll see. Might be fun. Maybe I'll see if I can get him to give me a tour of his museum. That'd be cool. I imagine he's going to be very busy. The YouTube chat is currently moving so fast I can't even read anything. Yes, B, there is a museum. There is a museum of synth instruments. Let me see if I can get a photo of the museum once. Look, Mom, No Computer Museum. Here we are. This is the Look, Mom, No Computer Museum. This museum is not obsolete. And it's like weird stuff. He loves his weird stuff. It's really great. And they just have all kinds of these odd things. Look, there he is with Doohickey. As far as I can tell, what we found is basically he's just a funny guy who likes doohickeys. And the Furby organ. He made an organ out of Furbies, and you can see it in this place. So have a look on Instagram. See what we got here. Like, what is that? It's so cool. I love it. Like, look at all this stuff. Like, I actually kind of think that this is like the coolest guy ever. I will say though, and I don't mean to realize it, I was sat on the plane today, and then all of a sudden something happened in my brain. And it was very unfortunate. where my brain went, 1, 2, 3, ragazzi. And I just need to get it out so it goes out of my brain, and now you all have to deal with that instead. This is a much better song than Ciao Ragazzi, just to be clear. Yeah, sorry. It could be worse. Hey, come on. For me and comparisons, it's not that bad. Do you not remember the time that I did Malik Harris with Daz Sampson, Teenage Life? It could be much, much worse. Get it out of our system indeed. I already hated it, now I hate it more. Sorry, Tom. Someone says they keep thinking of that Ish Kundiga song. Yep, I mean, I love Ish Kundiga, but I sadly don't think we'll ever get Großstadtgeflüster in Eurovision. So yeah, overall, thanks, Thunder. Paying you to never say that again. Payment accepted, I will not. I think this is going to do quite well. I'm going to do a poll on where it's going to finish, and we're going to do different options this time, because we need to cover the entire field. So, where will the UK finish? So we're going to have 1 to 10, 11 to 15, 16 to 20, and 21 plus. There we go. There's your poll. Start voting. Danda says Kent 2027. I'm not sure I want to spend that much time in Kent. Thank you. What I would love to see during this Eurovision season, by the way, from Look Mum No Computer, it would be really cool if you did a bunch of analog synth covers of other countries' entries. I think that would be such a fun thing to do. Someone says severe 19th place finish feeling. I would love it if this finished 19th. For us, 19th is great. So I'm going to give you a bit more time because we had a bit of a delay getting it up on Twitch. And, no one likes having a delay in getting it up, so I'll give you a little bit of extra time. Book Boo's brain is going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 to the tune of Ich komme by Erika Wickman. That is better. I prefer that to my one. And apparently we're getting Frederick Benker Ridman to stage it, which is usually a good thing. I mean, Ridman likes big props. Think the spinning top that Nemo had. Think of Kadia's giant box. That was a Frederick Ridman staging. People keep saying, look at the Ridman revamp. I can't play it on stream. I'll go and listen to it later. So I'm going to end the poll now. And by a razor-thin margin, you have decided that this is going to come somewhere between 11th and 15th. If this came between 11th and 15th, I would be delighted. I would be so delighted. I think that's maybe a little optimistic. I would love for you to be right. Dunda thinks this is going to come in the top 10. And that's what really matters. Now, we are going to talk about Poland next. We're almost certainly going to... Oh, that's the wrong one. We're going to run out of time tonight, so we're going to have to push some stuff till next week. But quickly before we do, and thank you very much, Jamie, who says that it's an amazing museum and recommends it to all of us. Thank you for your super chat, and I will definitely consider going. This is a bag of things that my fiance has compiled for me of stuff we accumulated while we were in Finland. So I'm going to go through it. What we have here, this is a like Helsinki Partners bag. It's a sauna bag. So what you do is you take it to the sauna, and then when you're done, you put your wet clothes in here, and it's waterproof, so you can leave immediately, and it doesn't make the rest of your stuff wet. So let's see what we have in here. There's a few different things. I'm just going to pull stuff out one at a time. Oh, here we are. So first we have, this is another Helsinki thing. This is a deck of cards, all of which show different ways to have a sauna in Helsinki. Let's have a look. It's incredible the kinds of things you pick up on your travels. So, you can see it has different things written on it. So, for example, this one says, number 2 of spades says, don't forget to hydrate. Which is a lesson I should follow. If we go through, oh God, I'm dropping stuff. It's quite an attractive set of cards, actually. This one says, breathe in, sweat out. There we go. And so they all have a little message on one of them. One more round. Looking through, what does that say? Feeling brave, cold plunge time. I did cold plunge while I was in Finland. There's not video evidence, though. Sorry about that. Cool down, then you go back in. So it's like a mini Barabarabastu card set. I'm going to put that in there. Back in there. So many ways to sauna. So now if you guys ever see me, I'm going to learn how to do those. You know those scam games that like those people on the street do with cards where they always win? I'm going to learn to do those, and then I'm going to use them to steal money from all of you. Next, we have, what's this? Those are just cough drops, I think. Yeah, these are just like little sugar drops. But they're happy. They're Helsinki branded sugar drops. Not much to say about that, though. We will go in. I have a mug, which Ula gave to me. Let's open this up. This is now, some of you may know that 2 years ago, I was on an evening show in Finland, wearing absolutely nothing at all. Jeremy Hale says, look, Mum, your computer is just iPapare by last. That is a bizarre comparison, but I am thankful for the donation. I was on an evening show. The evening show was called Puoli Seitsemän. Finally, 2 years later, I have a mug from that show. So I put the investment in early for this in 2024. 2 years later, it's paid back. That's what they mean by compound interest. Although, to be honest, we've run out of space in the cupboard for our mugs, so I'm not sure what we're going to do with that. I also have, yet another, I have a Helsinki sauna guide. And this is like, it shows you lots of different, lots of different saunas you can go to. Try to find one that I went to. Where's Furuvik? Not that one. I'm sure I saw it just a moment ago. Do they have an index? Is there like a sauna list in here somewhere? I'm sorry, I know this is very unserious and off topic, but I'm looking at the oh, I guess it's not on here. Oh yeah, it is. Page 28. So here we go. I went to this one. This is the Furuvik sauna, and it was really, really nice. It was very cold and snowy that day, so inside it was very cozy. One downside, there is a military base about like a few hundred meters just on the other side of the lake. They were doing drills at the time I was at the sauna, so we could hear the constant sound of gunfire in the distance. That was a bit strange. I also have, put that over there. Okay, this is the last thing in the bag, I think. Oh, there's something else. There was another sugar drop, so I'm going to put the bag down there. That's another Helsinki sugar drop. This bag is from Tampere, and in here we have an assortment of Visit Tampere, like, postcards and stuff. Oh, this one's really cute. There's Moomins. Wait. Does this come off? Okay, I can't get off. But Moomin postcards. That's fun. And also, we have this bag, which I haven't opened yet, which is an Erica Vickman like designer bag, which I guess I can open now. Let me just pull this off. There we go. How does it open? Do any of you know how these things work? Can someone help me? Someone says, look, Moomin, no computer. I'm disappointed in whoever said that. Does this... I don't know how to open the bag. Am I missing something? Can someone explain this to me? Let me get stuff out of the way. 1 moment. Seriously, how do I open this? Does it like pop out? Someone says, sorry, but I thought the bag was meat at first. Yeah, I'm going to put it in the cupboard with the exfoliating ham from Ireland last year. Oh, I wanted to show you this, but I can't get it open. So it'll have to be next week. Poland! Let's talk about Poland, which I watched today on the plane, and I have to say that this was an unmitigated disaster, the likes I have rarely seen. What an absolute mess. Let's get into it. Let's start with... Okay, so let's summarize. She couldn't sing, she couldn't dance, the choreo was terrible, the energy was non-existent. Can anyone anyone explain to me what on earth happened here? Like, this was astonishing in how bad it was. Someone said, I'm a mild child. Yeah, I don't understand why you would enter with a song like this and then give this kind of performance. It just... There was no energy whatsoever. It was really strange to me. I don't understand. I really, really don't understand. There was a dance break. The dance break was also not very good. Someone says, for the sake of Polish Euro fans, please don't be too harsh on Prey. Well, I'm sorry in advance. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to give you... I guess you can have a poll on this, but... I forgot to read a donation, says Zzz, and I can't see it anywhere, so I'll have to... Sorry, you wearing nothing on Finnish TV needs more context. Simon, there's a clip of it in the original UMK vlog from 2024. So, you guys can have a vote on this. 4, 3, 2, 1. Someone says, please do not roast Poland. I'm really sorry, Yamkovicha, but... We don't want polls, just go quickly, says Stephen. Okay, well, I'll move on to the next one. While you're voting on Wild Child, which is getting panned, we'll move on. I mean, this was... I mean, it was horrible. As a show, the entire national final was, I mean. B says, please don't make me do polls for this. Fine. No polls. I thought you guys liked buttons. Have I really polled you out? You said polls, but I thought you said polls. Indeed. But doing this sort of pre-recorded 1 hour long national final and then just doing the results on the morning show the next day. I don't know who thought that system up, but it was like they initially had a big plan and then gradually got colder and colder feet until they were like, well, we have to do something. And this was like the minimum effort thing they can do. Now... Loki, why did I enjoy this quite a lot? You know what? I'm sorry. This was fun. This was fun. What do you mean ESC Gabe type beat? Someone needs to explain what that means. What do you mean ESC Gabe type beat? Do you just mean that whenever something is horrible enough, I'm like, wow. My brain has been rotted. My brain has been rotted, but genuinely, I think this is so funny. It's just like some guy. I just like being silly and whimsical, okay? Is that really so wrong of me? Is your hatred of me, of my joy really so great? Yeah, Danda, you're right. The middle-aged men having silly fun is my kind of beat, and that's well, he's old. He's not middle-aged. He's old. It's funny and it's whimsy, and if this had won, I would have laughed very hard, and I would have probably been quite happy. Do you want a poll or not? Because half of you are like no poll, half of you are like poll. Fine. Poll. Tango in all caps. And I'm going to move on to the next one while you're voting. There you go. Start poll. Next song. Does anyone remember this? Well, yeah, okay. Let's move on. She has a nice voice. The song, don't remember it at all. This one, I got a little bit of heat for not including this in my video last time. I will say that this was one of the better ones in the selection. The voice was good, but I mean, again, it's just not very interesting. There's a reason why we're speeding through here, and it's because a lot of these songs are really dull. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what else to say about this, really. That's one of the reasons why I didn't put it in the videos, because it just... Yeah. Someone says, yeah, it's a song dedicated to kidney stones. I've never had a kidney stone. I would like to keep it that way. I would like to keep it that way. Let's listen to the best song in this selection. Oh. That... Well, so this was the best song in the selection, right? I enjoyed this more than anything else. It was interesting. It was fun. It's unfortunate, but I know Mr. Eurovision definitely did that on purpose. I really don't know why this didn't get closer to winning. They revamped it a little bit towards the end, although my original problem that I had with this was that it didn't feel like it moved along enough as the song went on. I kind of still feel the same. I kind of still feel the same about this, but there we are. Let's go to the winner. Right. There are a lot of people who commented under my video about this, defending this song. And if people like it, they like it. But you're not going to convince me to. I don't understand it at all. I criticized the rapping, and I stand by that when I saw it live. I criticized the structure of the song, and I stand by that having seen it live. Obviously, she has a really great voice. That was never in question. But this song, in my opinion, is totally disjointed, and I think that this is going to fail to qualify. That's going to be the question, by the way. When we do the finishing position, I'll put a poll on in a second. I just, I mean it respect. I don't mean to be disrespectful. Just to be clear, I never mean to disrespect someone. But I guess I just don't understand the song. And I don't understand what is being done here. And I feel like that I see what it's channeling. We've talked about this before. But I don't think it does a good job of it. And it's shouty. Like I said, it's disjointed. It just, we have a whole minute of a gospel track here. Then it stops dead and starts again. And I don't know. Right. So where will Poland finish? Thank you, She Badger. Milk and cookies for the video in Finland. Extremely entertaining. Would love to know your thoughts on the Romanian entry. We will come to it. We will come to Romania. Although I hear that the official channel has deleted it, the performance this evening, which is odd. Where will Poland finish? So we have NQ and then 16 to 25, 6 to 15, and 1 to 5. All right. Have at it. There we go. Off you go, everyone. There's your poll. Peter from MelFest Weekend here. Great to see you, Peter. Thank you so much for the donation. Alicia said she'll change the whole staging and will work with a new crew. Hopefully that will help. Yeah, I hope so. I don't know what the dancers were doing. I mean, if we look at this, I really don't know why. And like, they're not interacting with her. They're just kind of there. And I'm not sure about I'm not sure about their silly walk. Like, just kind of, they're like, yeah, I don't get it. I would really love to speak to the one person who said that this will come between 1st and 5th. It's literally one person. Because it won't. All right, there we go. NQ 76%. I mean, that's pretty conclusive, I would say. Yeah, it's a shame. We'll have a look at the semi more generally in a minute. But first, now we've gone through, is there anything, well, I'm just checking, is there anything else to talk about in this selection? I would talk about this, but she's like 16, so I don't really think it's fair to criticize too much. She needs management that doesn't damage her reputation with their poor decisions. So I feel sorry for her more than anything else. Let's talk about France, who have selected Berghain by Rosalia. No. Although the clip really did sound like Berghain. Yeah, so France is doing opera, like straight opera. And to be honest, while I think it will do well, I'm really not sure how much this is going to resonate with the European public. And the reason is, we've had 2 winners with opera in 2 years. I think people do get cynical and do get wise to this kind of thing and go, oh, well, I'm not going to vote for that because something similar won last year. So that's where we're at. Obviously, she has a beautiful voice. I think it could be really impressive live. We've seen in past years that France has a lot of budget, and so I imagine they will bring a really impressive staging. I just really hope they don't make a mistake like they did with Luan's Fart last year. And the thing is, right, I'm not even sure it's going to win the jury. Because to be honest, and we'll look at the odds after this, because I am really tired, firstly, and secondly, it is after 10 o'clock, so I'm minded to leave the remaining national finals for next week. They have Walafied Wasted Love. It's a 6 upon a time. So after this, maybe we should just look through how the semis are shaping up. And I'm going to briefly talk about my plans for the next few months as well. I think Finland is going to win the juries over this, still, provided Peter Parkkonen really delivers. I mean, it's just a kind of dramatic, operatic song. And the other thing is I find it difficult to, like, remember. Like, the song doesn't stick in my brain. I've listened to it a bunch of times and it still hasn't fully stuck. God, I'm tired. So I don't know. I can't see it winning, and I'm surprised that this has jumped up the order in the way it has. And I mean, to just give you the full rundown, this is how the odds are looking right now, which is, well, different to last time. And as you can see, the second that this was released, they shot up. 1991 Petrolhead, thank you very much for the super chat, says, this feels like it was written by ChatGPT to be as French as possible. Really appreciate your generosity, firstly. Secondly, it is extremely French, but the French do always do this, where they make things as French as possible. Like, extremely, extremely French as possible. Other than that, the other things that have happened this week, we should mention as well, we are not covering Israel on this channel, as you know. We do not cover Israel. We do not engage with the Israeli entry. I do not believe Israel should be in the contest, and we've made many videos about this in the past. They did also release their song this week. What I will say is, I don't think it's going to win Eurovision. It's mid. It's not going to win Eurovision. There's too much competition here. So probably, I would say, worry less about that at the moment. But yeah, not going to win. And the other thing is, and we talked about this before, a lot of the motivators behind the televote, they will still have an inflated televote this year. But let's not forget that the dynamic is very different to last year in terms of the geopolitical situation, in terms of things that would motivate supporters of Israel to vote for Israel. You know, things like the hostages, obviously the emotional connection with Yuval Raphael being an October the 7th survivor, things like this. Those factors aren't present here. And those are major, major factors in that 297 points from last year. So I think the televote will fall and it won't win. Obviously, this is window dressing because the reality is they should not even be here. Everyone knows it. And yet they are. Hopefully, they will drift further. I really want it to just not go well and for it to drift away. Someone says you're giving me hope. At the same time, I don't feel hopeful when I say, oh, well, I don't think they're going to win. I don't feel hopeful. I feel sad because I feel sad that they're here in the first place and that we've had to go through this ridiculous exercise. The time now is 10:10. I don't want to do a whole national final starting at this time. So I think maybe we'll just quickly talk for a little bit before we go. A few things. Firstly, on how things have shaped up. I think for Finland, things are looking really excellent right now. I think they're in a lane of their own. They have the drama. They have the sort of staging concept to win Eurovision. I think if you're Denmark and Greece, you're really happy. I think that's probably, if I had to name a top three at the moment, Finland, Denmark, Greece as the top three in Eurovision. And that would be a really, really exciting one. Australia, I think, slightly overrated. Top 10, yes, because she'll do well with the juries especially, but it's not gonna come in with a shout of winning. Felicia, I think, is about right. Like, if everything went perfectly, maybe, but winning is difficult. Rydnim, I never know with Ukraine. I need to listen to the revamp, so maybe we'll come back to that. Antigone, I feel like has had a good season without having to do that much. They came out, like, since she has released this song, in my opinion, it has looked better and better over time. And now I think it's in a good place. I want to mention Malta. I feel like there is an outside chance that Malta could do a lot better than this. Like it could do really, really well with the juries. Again, comes down to the staging. I imagine they will do something ambitious. And Nero, thank you very much for the $2. What I will say, we'll talk more about this over the next couple of weeks. I'm sure many of you have been wondering about what I'm going to do in Vienna and with regards to the main contest. There's a few different factors that come into my decision. The first is, what is ethical? What can we do ethically? How can we, cover things in a responsible way, in a way that doesn't shy away from the reality that the contest exists in, that fits into a lot of the themes we've already been talking about this season when it comes to, identity crises in the contest and what it means and what it should mean and what the EPU's job should be and whether it's fit for purpose and things like this. I do feel there are things stories that need to be told and things that I want to do that are important, which means I am going to be going to Vienna. I have not yet heard if I'm going to be accredited or not. That will not affect my editorial line. The other factor, though, and I should say this because it would be dishonest for me to not to. The other thing that is part of my decision is that, obviously, this is my full-time job. Because of our personal circumstances at the moment, it's our only income, like, as in my family. And so this is sustaining two people. And so I also, that's obviously part of my decision as well. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, I've made this, sort of without thinking about that stuff, because obviously, it's my life. These lights are on because the money I make from this channel pays for them to be on. I also think there's a question about where the contest is afterwards and what we're going to have to rebuild. And institutions tend to not be destroyed, but rather evolve in some way. Eurovision is a public institution. It's owned by the public and public broadcasters, and it's funded by the public. It's funded by you if you pay your taxes. And so there is going to come a time when this thing evolves. And the question is, how does it evolve? What does it evolve into? So I don't know exact details on what I'm going to be doing yet while I'm there. But I will be going there in order to, do things in an ethical manner. And for those of you who do not wish to engage with the contest directly, to provide at least some critical coverage. I won't be going to shows or buying tickets or anything, Taz, no. But yeah, it's a tough situation for me, and I don't know how I would feel. I will say I genuinely don't know how I would feel if it was just like a hobby. I don't know how I'd feel. But there we are. I should say I have applied for press accreditation. It's the EBU's choice what they wish to do with that. I'm not going to speak about it until a decision has been made. But yes, I think we'll talk about this more with Jay here as well in the coming weeks. But since this is something that I've obviously been thinking about in the last few weeks, that is something I wanted to talk about straight away once I'd made my decision. And hopefully you guys understand that. But yeah, so it's thank you, Olga. I really appreciate that. Says, I'm glad you're going to Vienna because we need people like you to report back to the contest. I do want to, I'm conscious of the fact that I'm scared what happens. The thing is, I understand why outlets have chosen not to cover the contest anymore, why outlets are choosing not to go to Vienna. I also understand why individuals have chosen to boycott the contest. And I think if you choose to make that decision, it's a completely justifiable one. Whatever decision you make, whether that's boycotting or not, I really hope that the things I've done have helped to inform that decision for you. I'm scared about what happens if the media space becomes a vacuum, basically, and who fills that space. That's the thing I'm worried about as well. So there's a lot of different factors. I imagine I will be more eloquent on this over time. We're still sort of in an early stage. But there are narratives and things that I want to see through, and things that are important. We talked about the Moldova and Ukraine stuff. We talked about Felicia, all these different stories. But yeah, so that is my position in a minute. People are asking me about LEP. I haven't exactly fully decided what I'm doing with LEP yet. I'm probably going to go in that case. But yeah, so that's the position at that point. Someone says, can you show us semi-final 1? Do you mean like you want to see it on here, or? I mean, I can do. Let me zoom out a bit so you can see it all. I will also say, I'm happy to discuss this stuff, by the way, on my Discord server. If you want to talk about that on there with others, with me, I do engage in there. I talk in the server regularly. I'm more than happy to talk about all of this stuff. But yeah, it's a difficult situation. It's a really difficult situation. I see why you wanted me to show you this now, because every song has been chosen. I guess we can close up by saying who are the 5 we think are not going to qualify. Because obviously there's 15 here. To be honest, I kind of think, if I had to pick 5 not to qualify, Portugal, Belgium, Estonia, Poland, San Marino. That's what I'm saying. Let me know what you guys think. But for me, it seems pretty clear that those are the 5 that aren't qualifying. I will say, by the way, one thing that is for sure, I mean, if Israel do win this contest, I'm done. I'm just going to go and get another job. If I can. But I can't continue if Israel wins. That is, for me, a hard done. Flavius says, do you like the song from Romania? Congrats. I do a bit, but I think we'll talk about it more next week. Everyone is saying the same 5 countries, by the way. and a few people saying maybe Georgia, and then switching one in or out. Moldova is going to be fine. Someone says Moldova has a tough shot. I think Moldova is going to sail through. I think if Israel wins, the contest is done. To be honest, I think like the thing is fully finished, cooked, boiled, roasted, plucked. You know. So this was meant to be a discussion, but the thing is, we kind of all said the same 5, or maybe just swap Georgia in. So, you know, I feel like we're kind of all on the same page. I do think it's really weird to look at a semi-final this morning. I do feel kind of depressed looking at something like this because, I mean, unless we have a big shock somewhere, it's just, you know, it doesn't feel like a full show. And I think if people feel the semi-final this week, I would say, well, there should be 3 more songs probably in the semi-final that aren't because of, well, circumstances. Theoretically, Israel wins, but then a ban from the competition next year. What would your stance be? Well, if it wasn't in Israel and Israel aren't in the competition, then I think that actually, of course, I feel like most people would probably be around. If they'd won first and then that happened, that's like, it would probably piss everyone off a lot. But I mean, it's curious. That's not going to happen. So this is a thought experiment. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I hadn't really thought about it before. But I doubt that would happen. I really doubt that would happen. What I will say, and I've said this before, is advocacy on this issue is tied in really closely with individual national broadcasters who follow the geopolitical positions of their governments. So, if you want to change this, please engage with advocacy groups in your own country and stuff. One thing I really want to do, we did that fundraiser last year for Ukraine. I want to do something more widely, something that, number one, like goes across not just Ukraine, but people who need help, Palestine, Sudan, elsewhere. And number two, because it's something that has that more general focus, something that I want to be able to go to artists this year and say, hey, come take a part in this thing. And for them to not be worried about the code of conduct when they're doing it. We already have, Israel allegedly planning a complaint against Felicia because she said they shouldn't be in the contest. Which is, I mean, if I speak, it's obviously, that's not going to go anywhere. There's no way they're going to, there's no way that they're going to do anything about that. Hunter of Stars, I hope your flight is going smoothly. Someone sameone says do a karaoke night. You know what I was actually thinking of doing, and hear me out on this idea. Was doing a sort of really long, like a marathon live stream, 12 hours or something, right? With a fundraiser and like guests each hour, but like have like a set of games or something and have like a big wheel that we spin for each guest when they come on. And then we do the activity that comes up on that. So you'd have like GeoGuessr and like maybe karaoke and a bunch of other things, right? I think that could be really cool. And then also, I would bring back the karaoke. I'd do it like every 500 euros or something. We'd do a karaoke song, and I'd put like 30 songs on another spin wheel, and we press the spin wheel for each 500 euros, and then that's the song that we do. Does that sound fun? Because we can do that. I'll try and get a bunch of people in. We'll see what's possible. Someone says, Effendi as a guest, please. Something tells me that Effendi would probably not come on this channel. You should invite Vice-Minister and Vibe. Yes, I would. I would also invite Janice. Yes. Speaking of which, while I remember, Janice is releasing an album, guys. Let me find the Instagram post. Janice Manchon. There we go. Janice is releasing an album. So make sure, when it comes out, make sure you go and listen to it. Okay, the translation doesn't work. I don't know when it's being released. But the point is, it's being released, so we're going to do it for Janice, and we are all going to stream the album. Do you all promise to stream the album? Good. All right, this is getting kind of like meandering and silly now, so I feel like it's the time probably to call it a day. We have been up for 2 hours, 10 minutes. Thank you all for giving me so much energy through this, like coming home, jumping off the plane, and then doing a live stream by myself. It's been a bit of a tiring end to my day, but once again, just like last week where I got in and I was tired and the stream almost didn't happen, I'm really, really, really glad I did this. You guys genuinely make my week every week. I really, really, really love you guys so much, and I really love doing this. I feel so lucky that I've been able to do a national final season this year with this as my full-time job. And I really, really, really hope that the contest moves in a direction that will allow us to continue to do this past this year. I don't want it to just be for now. Yeah, I don't think there is a contest. We have a contest to save. We have more songs to talk about. Obviously, we have more national finals to talk about next week. We're not fully done yet. I will try to get something out for Tuesday. If not, it will be Wednesday. Thank you all for all your support. I know this is a difficult and weird time, but I would just encourage you all to continue to be kind to each other, to yourselves. And yeah, basically, I love you all very much. Everyone go stream My System by Felicia. And with that, it's time for me to go to sleep. So goodbye, and I will see you again very soon. And I'm going to wave now until I press the off button. Just going to wave for a bit so you have got a chance to say goodbye, guys. Bye.